like, why do men cheat? Why is that? And I don't know. It just kind of like came to me, or this question just crossed my mind when you were saying that, like how your kid's dad, grandfather, is a cheater, and he's like this really big cheater. Like maybe it's not in their nature to be in a monogamous relationship. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
maybe, yeah, they should be in more of like one of the polyamorous relationships because that may resonate with them. It sounds like it may resonate with them more.
exactly.
It's just the concept, and society standards of like how we should be in relationship and how we should move in relationship. But if it's not natural to you, like don't force it and don't destroy people in the process. Like
Absolutely.
like know thyself and be real with thyself.
Absolutely.
So you can be real with others.
Exactly. And unfortunately,
Exactly.
we also like some women have to take part in that part too, right? Because there are men who will tell women straight up, like, hey, I'm letting you know now that X, Y, and Z, and we still, because of whatever issues that we have, still want to be loved and cared for and have that glimpse of hope for whatever we want and desire in that person. Um, but on an evolutionary scale, I was a religious studies major in college, and one of the classes that we had was based off of evolution, of course. And they talk about gender and sexuality. And one of the ideas was that we were taught monogamy, right? If you think
Right.
about how
Mhm.
sperm men have, the goal was to just be able to get as many women as possible, pregnant as possible. But we adopted monogamy to protect children better. It's easier for a man to protect his children with one woman than it is for a man to protect his kids with 100 women, right? Because really, realistically, men could have kids with hundreds of women if they wanted to. And
Mm-hmm.
so just like acknowledging those that society has changed the way that men are created. Well, not changed, but uh, society has deemed that as not natural, that monogamy is the only way. um when we do get comfortable around having a conversation that maybe it's not the way for everyone, then I think that things might actually will change. That's a very valid point.
Yeah, for sure. And that it's not judged, like I don't know. I just yeah, that whole judgment piece, or you fearing what you don't understand, so you place derogatory labels on people and their relationships, or you want to call the woman dumb if she accepts that.
Mhm.
Um, yeah,
Mm,
Yeah,
that's very.
that's a good point.
It's just very strange. I'm not for polyamory at this point in my life, but hey, if you for it, you like it, I love it. Do whatever it is that makes your soul dance. But I don't know. It's just yeah. It's the whole judgment piece that it's just it comes from multiple angles. It's not just like you said, to protect the children. It's also to pretty much keep us enslaved to like believe one way. Which
Yeah.
is
mm,
the whole Roman Catholic. Mary was a virgin, but mysteriously got pregnant, and yeah. So there we go. Yeah. So there we
and
go.
so on.
So I think this is a really good segue into our final question. And relationship should be with yourself. And I
Mm,
think like that's why we enter into these toxic relationships, because we haven't built that relationship with ourselves first, and we haven't went inside and like poured into ourselves, and given that self love and have that self love for ourselves. So if we don't have it for ourselves, we really can't give it because we don't have it to give, literally.
right.
So, Brittany, I just want to know, like, how important is it for you to build a relationship with yourself first, and how has your self-love journey been so far?
Wow. I mean, honestly, it's one of the greatest decisions that I've ever made to choose me first. It was the first time I've ever done it. Like I said, I had been in a relationship since I was 15. I'm 27 now, so this is my first full year ever being single. Um and I am I go through waves just like everyone else, but the confidence and the level of accountability that I'm holding for myself is absolutely incredible and book worthy almost. But specifically, one of the things that I had to realize that I was giving away that is really completing the journey of self-love, which is never going to be a complete journey. It's going to go on until I die. But
Yep.
is sex, right? Like, in what ways, yes, I can be free from men in relationships, but what ways am I giving away myself by having sex with multiple people and not a real connection with them, right? So right now I'm in the journey to where I'm practicing my own version of celibacy. And when I tell you guys, this is the hardest part of the journey. This
Is it though? Because it's not for me.
Woo!
But I'm a little bit older than y'all too.
I
So
think when
Yeah.
sex is, is like the root of a relationship, or that's how you kind of feel and connect with like the opposite sex, then yeah,
Yeah,
it
for
can
my
be
whole
very
life.
hard. Yeah.
If you think about it, right? Like 10 years of me not having to worry about finding a sexual partner. Like I have a very high sex drive. I like blame it on the Scorpio moon that I have. So like at least if it's not every day, at least has to be like 3 to 4 times a week for me. And so I had to realize that, okay, one, I'm not building any valuable relationships with the men that I am seeing. And what would it look like? I had to test myself. What would it look like for me to actually build a friendship with someone and
yeah, and
practice
take that out. Yeah.
in another way? Because I didn't know, in my mind, I thought intimacy was really just like having sexual intercourse and not like a hug or like a conversation. And so right now I'm seeing this guy, and I've never in my life felt like I could actually just be 100% myself, and keep a guy around without having sex with him. And it is working,
Mm-hmm.
possible. And I feel like I've met a life partner. Doesn't even have to be in a sexual way at all, but in any way, shape, or form. And it's not easy. It is very hard, because typically when you mess up or whatever, you could just have sex after and it'll be okay for the moment. Like, I'm learning how to work through things, how to work through
Yes.
conflict and actually talk things out, and see somebody for more than, just the sexual part. Like, that's my own trauma that I had that I'm working towards. So
Mm.
I'm in that stage right now. I'm happy to be here. I'm
Oh, that's
good, thank
amazing. I'm
you.
so happy for you and your journey. I feel like mine is like the opposite. Like I can go years without having sex.
I can
Wow.
too.
And
Or I can
I
do it every
can
day.
literally be by myself. Like I've been single for like, 5 year stints, like for real, for real. And I still wasn't like I was alone, I wasn't in relationship, but I still wasn't pouring into myself. Like I still wasn't getting to know myself. And I would trick myself into believing that I was because I wasn't in a relationship and I was just like, you know, by myself and like that surface level. Oh, I'm getting a mani and petty. I'm pouring into myself. I'm taking a trip here. I'm going out to have dinner at this restaurant. So I'm like really dating myself and being with myself, but really just being able to sit with myself and my thoughts and not judge them and sit in meditation and really ask the question of like, who are you? You know what I mean? Like, and when you ask the questions, of course you're gonna get the answer. Like, like I just literally, and I've been by myself like for majority of my life, like just really started my self-love journey. Like I tricked myself into thinking I was. And the crazy thing is like anytime I would get into a relationship, like I would self-sabotage it because I didn't have, you know, I didn't pour into myself and I didn't have that self love to give to myself first in order to be content and secure within myself, and not have to compromise and bend and fold to, someone else's being and someone else's expectations. Like now I can, you know, enter into a relationship and stand up tall and say, this is who the fuck I am. I'm a fucking goddess. I treat myself this way. So I'm, this is my expectation of myself. And either, your actions and your intentions are going to align with that, or now I can be like, all right, so now I know exactly like when it's time to leave. You know what I mean? Like I have no problem with walking away because I have that love for myself. And I think that's the big difference for me.
Absolutely.
That's definitely dope. I agree with all that. I don't have problems with having sex every day or not having sex every day. I do find though that it's difficult for me to disconnect, especially in the last little small relationship that I had. When I do have sex with someone, like when I was younger, I wouldn't say like it didn't matter, but it didn't really feel like I actually had to like, you know, burn some sage, throw some salt behind my back, do fold, Hail Marys, burn a patch of hair, stab a dog. It didn't feel like I needed to go through all of that. It was just kind of like, didn't work out, or I knew that this was temporary. Whereas now, especially, with trying to pour into myself and being more particular about, how I treat myself, it's difficult to detach. I see that as kind of like a blind spot, or sex as a blind spot, and being difficult to detach if I do that in relationship. And I mean, the last one that I was in, we waited for a while. It wasn't like, oh my God, we're in a rush, and I don't know. It just took a little while to detach. So I try to lead with my authentic self, lead with who I am, and then if sex gets put into the picture, it does. But I definitely don't let things kind of go with the flow, so to speak. Like I am more intentional about um just my moral compass, kind of, so to speak, when it comes to being in a relationship with men. And also knowing that, I don't know, I'm not going to say that they never really truly show you who they are. I think right now, where I am in my life, I just want to be partnered with someone that's willing to take it like turtle pace slow with me. um
Mm-hmm.
and just because I'm taking it turtle place slow with myself. So I feel
Right.
like that, yeah, that will be reciprocated by, yeah, whoever's supposed to be with me. And if we have sex, we have sex, and if we don't, we agree to be celibate but monogamous. Okay, I'm down with that too. So
That's dope. I feel like I'm like the complete opposite because I've been in like tons of relationships where, we've waited and that shit, turned out to be trash and toxic too. So now I'm just like at a place in my life where, you know, if someone presents themselves and I'm interested, I'm gonna go with the flow of it. Whatever happens, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna, move based on how I feel in that moment. I think the only difference is, kind of meeting those vibrations for, those meaningful experiences as opposed to trying to force the vibration and like force, my way into a relationship because, oh, now I feel like I need to be in a relationship because I'm tired of being single. Like, yeah, I'm open and I want a relationship. Like I want a boyfriend, but I'm not like gonna be like trying to force it. Like if it comes and it feels right, yeah, I'm gonna go from there. And yeah, if I wanna fuck on the first day or the second day or on the third month, like yeah, that's gonna happen and whatever comes from that, like I'm cool with that. Like
yeah,
I'm
and that's
cool either
fine.
way.
I'm just saying that I'm not gonna lead with it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh
I'm
yeah,
just,
yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm just saying like I'm like completely like I'm open to it. Like at first, like, from experience, like I would always like everything was strategically planned and
Like you like in the
structured.
first 30 days,
Yeah,
we gotta go on 30
exactly.
dates, and
And
you
so
gotta.
so now Like, like I'm just in a different place. So
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like with me, I was actually leading with that, and not
No, I
realizing.
was too, and I didn't know.
Yeah.
For sure,
Yeah.
girl.